So we've got our draft coming on in here, though. We've got 2Arc versus Bang Bang for the semifinals of the ESL September Monthly. The Go4Heroes September Monthly. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in this draft because it's going really quickly.
Yeah,
we've got first picks and first bans. Ban out of Zagara coming out there from Bang Bang, and we got a ban of Leoric coming out there from 2Arc. Who called it?
Yep, no, you're totally right. That Leoric has been a big linchpin in a lot of these combinations. But this also means that the Zeratul gets through as that first pick. 2Arc immediately, though, take the Jaina Johanna. And I have to wonder, Sky Tempo coming through, when you immediately see those very quick picks, they're thinking maybe this could be an Abathur, maybe this could be an Asmodan. That's what I'm thinking at any rate, because they pair up so very well with those heroes.
That's true, and so you see that Abathur get banned out there from 2Arc, and now Bang Bang is up for the ban. I'm curious to see what they go for, because at this point you see Jaina Johanna, there's nothing really too telling, but they might want to just take out that Malfurion. Malfurion is just so good for these sustained fights at the Sky Temple. And they've already got their support, so Uther would be Uther's already there, so they don't need to worry about any other supports.
Now, Bang Bang, unless they're going to be taking a Tyrande to go with that Uther, there's no way that they're going to be getting a Mule. I'm a little curious that 2Arc actually did ban out that Abathur, considering they have first pick. If they wanted to run it, then they didn't need to ban that whatsoever. Now, Bang Bang's thinking, what else can we ban here? It has to be something damage-wise. The mages are out. Zeratul is already there. And Leoric is gone, so is the Zagara. That leaves us with, either a melee ban or Vala, Raynor, something like that. And the ban will be very telling as to what these last kind of picks are going to be for Bang Bang.
So they go for a Sonya ban. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure that I would have suspected a huge triple warrior kind of coming out there from 2Arc, and just this lone Sonya with a Johanna. Not sure if I really agree with that either.
Well, when you see a Zeratul, you can put together a game plan of at least double warrior and kind of like a flex or a triple warrior, and Zeratul will become not nearly as deadly as he does tend to be up against squishies.
That's true. So now it's up to 2Arc to get their next couple of picks. Still missing a support, still missing their second warrior. Never mind, they pick up the Muradin.
Yep. Okay, so Muradin, Johanna for the front line. Bang Bang can't go Monk, but they don't have a warrior yet either. So 2Arc doesn't have to really worry about the 7-sided strike whatsoever, unless it's going to be some kind of weird auto attack Monk. Monk is one of the only heroes in this game with 0 AoE possibilities. 0. So you don't really have to, I don't think you really have to worry about it too much at all. 2Arc is going to take the mouth, and with that Jaina backline, they still very well could take a melee assassin, or, as the band was suggesting from Bang Bang, the Sonya.
Yeah. Well, Sonya's gone though, so they will have to decide what they want to go for their last pick, but Bang Bang now up here for their next couple of picks, and they've got the Zeratul, they've got the Kilthos, they need their double warriors at this point, probably Tyrael, I would have suspected out of one of them. For the other one, that's really kind of up to them. We already have Leoric banned out. Johanna's already banned out.
I think the Tyrande Tyrael could actually work out well. Call me crazy.
Tyrael.
Call me crazy.
Well, they go for an Uberak. So there's a little bit of a bug in your drafting.
Yep. I said call me crazy.
I didn't want to call you crazy. I don't want to dismiss you as
I'm still really curious that 2Arc banned out the Abathur. Were they afraid of the Abathur Zeratul? It is a very favored battleground for him.
Really, I mean, just Abathur in general on this map is really good. And having Zeratul with Abathur is really terrifying. You can chase down your squishies so incredibly easily. And wow, single warrior, a Uberak with an Azebo. Now, we saw this in an earlier game today, where we saw this kind of just single warrior and Uberak, and it actually kind of worked out pretty well. I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to work out for Bang Bang here as well. Single warrior. Don't need double warrior anymore. It's gone. It's out the window. Not really, but
2Arc feels like I think they need a Vala here.
Vala would be a pretty good pickup here. Maybe also something. I don't know. Let me throw down my crazy prediction. What if we saw a Tychus?
If there was an Illidan on the other side, I would say that possibility is definitely there. Auto attack Tychus is something I want to see coming back, but they are going to actually triple warrior by the end of it.
Yeah, and that's actually a huge issue for Bang Bang. They've got 2 casters. They don't have any.
Tyrael is also a very smart, because I was just thinking of somebody that can stop Nazebo, right?
Yeah.
Tyrael can do that, but I was hoping for a bit more of a damage-oriented approach from Tuark. But with Tyrael here, he can Judgment a Ravenous, which is probably means that Bang Bang has to go for a Gargantuan.
I've just gotten added by every single member of Tuark in the last couple of seconds.
They like us,
anyway,
man.
They really do. What I find to be really interesting here is, I was saying they've got 2 casters on their side, not like casters like us, the handsome kind. No, they've got 2 spellcasters. They've got Nazeebo and Kael'thas. That's a huge issue when you're going up against Triple Warrior, because you don't have any percentage of life damage. You don't have Giant Killer. You don't have any way to really kind of chip them down, except for the sustained damage from Kael'thas and Nazeebo. I'm curious to see, however, this is crazy, but this is what Dignitas does, if we see Backdraft come out there from Kael'thas instead of Arcane Barrier.
You think that's slow?
That's slow, actually. I like it. I like it when an ADRD or Snitch pick it up on their Kael'thas. The ADRD, I think, just loves Backdraft.
Just waiting for them to actually finish populating the lobby here before we switch over to game view. But so this is Sky Temple. Sky Temple with this many squishies from Bang Bang. Uther can solo a point. Anubarak. Nazeebo can, I think, to a degree, using the zombie walls. But I wouldn't really want to put a Kael'thas or a Zeratul just by themselves on that point. Tuark will have a little bit more muscle in that regard. And once more, again, Tuark will actually have the advantage of a mule at level 7.
That's true.
There's not a lot of CC to worry about this round.
And Tuark just has a lot more healing, too. Uther's good at healing. I mean, I'm not going to throw that away.
No, absolutely not.
But Malfurion, he's got Tranquility. It's a lot of AoE sustained healing. Tyrael's got Righteousness, a lot of AoE healing and shielding. Muradin's got his own Stone form. He's got Avatar, and he's got his second wind trait. That's a lot of healing that Bang Bang's going to have to chew through, and they've got an Nazeebo and a Kael'thas to do it with. Now, Zeratul, he could just go for more of like a anti-frontline kind of tank Zeratul and just kind of just use that follow-through a lot more than just, wormholing to try and kill Jaina. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to play with this Zeratul now, because the Triple Warrior is going to be really difficult to deal with.
Especially with Tyrael in that. I mean, we have Muradin for the mobility and the lockdown. We got Tyrael for the mobility and the survivability. Johanna, of course, is just Johanna at this point. She is just a really solid frontliner. And we don't really have any kind of big soft CCs here, do we? Nazeebo doesn't bring any slows. Anubarak has only stuns. That would leave us with Gravity Lapse and the Hammer from Uther. So even through all that, Johanna negates a heck of a lot of that kind of control in the front line. If she can soak up a few of those and then pop the Unstoppable, that will give a lot of freedom of movement for Muradin and Tyrael.
Well, they do have the Void Spike on Zeratul, I guess, is their only slow.
Right. Yeah, I've never really considered that as slow. And we don't really see like bomb-centric builds anymore. Remember, it would stick just anyways, or it would blow up AoE style. I mean, that used to be huge, but
it used to be the iDream, I believe. He used to do that all the time on Cloud9. He was like their ranged, but he would, or no, at the time, like he just kind of wouldn't go for the standard gathering power build. He would just go for this super like singularity spike build and just focus on the double bombs at level 7 and then level 4 the AoE. And it was always really fun to watch. But he doesn't really go for, nobody really goes for that anymore. So at this point, they've got a really interesting setup to go up against here, Bang Bang. They've got a lot to kind of chew through and really get through to that backline, that Malfurion and the Jaina. And I'm curious to see if they're going to do it, because Sky Temple is a huge map for just sustain, for fighting for a long time. Actually, do we have to say we're go?
No, it's B-Kid is not in the game.
Oh.
Yeah. Not entirely too sure what's up with him.
I'm just going to say that he's dead. So rest in peace, B-Kid.
Well, we have a little bit of time before I think disqualification will set in.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Not really too much of an issue. When it comes to healing, of course, Malfurion will have a little bit more of a team fight oriented. Uther will definitely shine a bit earlier when it comes to this. But, I mean, if we spread out a lot of the damage, if Jaina goes for Snowstorm at level 4, for example, is this even like, does she even need Ice Block? I guess the Zeratul threat will kind of, promote the use of that Ice Block, because Malfurion won't be able to kind of deal with that burst damage. But imagine, with this kind of comp and Icy Veins, all the control of those warriors.
Icy Veins would be pretty interesting. It's kind of like, I was kind of saying that Kael'thas likes to go for, I like Kael'thas to go for Backdraft, but I also see when Triple Warrior go with the Kael'thas, we can see Backdraft on their side, just kind of slow everybody down. They've got the huge front line, so they don't have to worry about going for that arcane barrier to keep them alive for a little bit longer. Same kind of thing I would think for Jaina. She can go for that Icy Veins if she really wants to, and just kind of lay down a lot of that damage from the backline because she's got 3 warriors to stay there to peel to really make sure that she stays alive for as long as possible. If she's got that Icy Veins, she can proc it and she can stay in range. I feel like it'll be really strong. It's not a possibility I'm going to throw away.
What is going on with my chat? My God. All right, B-Kid is here. He's picked up that Anubarak. I believe we are going to be going here in just a moment. If you could give them the... Never mind, we're good. So, Bang Bang versus 2Arc here. Game number 1, Sky Temple. I'm, again, looking towards Malfurion to see if he will actually be picking up that mule. It really comes down to, who gets this earlier advantage. What kind of levels are we going to be looking at 10? And then again at 13. That will really, I think, decide what Nazeebo and Jane are going to be picking up for those tiers.
Right, and, you were mentioning level 10 and level 13. I feel like that's also when we start to see Triple Warrior get into its, dare I say,
groove?
final form.
Yeah.
And why groove?
You get into the groove,
Jazzy.
man.
Jazzy.
Yeah.
The Emperor's groove. Anyway, so 13 is, I feel like, when the scaling starts to become very favorable there for Warriors. And I feel like that's going to be where we're going to, if 2Arc is going to really start to succeed, is going to be at the level 13. They just have to not fall too far behind. I don't know what's happening.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings.
Isn't that
Kane?
Hearthstone? No, it's Hearthstone.
Oh.
Isn't that what the Warlock? I don't play Hearthstone. I'm pretty sure that's what the Warlock says.
I was just thinking Deckard Kane.
Or maybe he just says greetings. I don't know. It could be Deckard Kane. I don't know. Who's on the left?
Anyway, on the left-hand side, we've got 2Arc. They've got LZ Gamer up here in the top lane as Serial. Insomnia on the Malfurion. Sunshine as the Johanna. We've got Crone grinding in on the Jaina. And finally, Muradin being played by Traitor.
Are they all on coins? Oh, LZ, you messed it up. I thought they were all on coins.
LZ. Well, he's on the BlizzCon mount. That's cool.
Not cool enough. All right, on the flip side, though, Jun, Goku, Prismaticism, B-Kid, and Tiger JK. You're going to be making up the team here of Bang Bang. Now, there was no death ball here. Nobody went to die for the eyes. So what kind of talents do we have coming out? Quite a few. 2 regen masters and the conjurers versus just actually the 1 regen. I guess there's no Leoric here. I was looking for reanimation.
Hey, we went for Felon Fusion on that Kael'thas, interestingly enough.
Okay.
That's what I was kind of expecting from that level 1 when we saw Momentum picking up their Kael'thas. I would have expected that Felon Fusion. Now we're starting to see it now on Bang Bang. Very, very interesting.
Again, I'm more of the view if the Malfurion finds you with 2 warriors or the Triple Warriors finds you, I don't think the Felon Fusion is going to do a damn thing. But hey, either way, the sustain will definitely be welcome. Of course, Uther is only 1 healer, and woo, speaking of the healer.
Beautiful gravity labs coming in there from Prismaticism, trying to take out Insomnia, but we're just barely short of the damage needed for that first blood. But as we're talking about that, we see the objectives starting to pop up here in the bottom and the mid. Or sorry, in the top and the mid. Why am I saying the bottom? Because we're looking at the bottom.
Probably.
The top and the mid. Curious to see how this is all going to go.
So Nazeebo's actually going to be moving up. Tiger JK looking perhaps for a zombie wall on Sunshine. Doesn't quite have the positioning, though. That is leaving Tyrael now into the bottom lane. And Tyrael is one of the warriors that, he's a bit more old school, but his wave clear is not terrible. Doesn't really compare to these newer warriors, but he can actually push out this wave and then come up. And as you can see, a little bit of incremental advantages to that level 4 is now going the way of 2Arc.
That's true. If they can pick up the level 4, they can pick up possibly even both of these temples. We can see the top temple has not been touched just yet. And we're seeing kind of a very tentative Goku run up there. Maybe I want to start picking this up. But B-Kid, getting glassed upon, not going to be able to get that burrow charge out, and is going to get taken down.
Now that level 4 is now going to come out from both sides. Tiger JK did actually rotate bottom, and now we got Prismaticism possibly holding down mid, but you can see the pain train now coming up. Goku got, they're actually going for him? They are, but he actually dodges. Is that going to be enough to damage the roots? Insomnia. That's going to be the second kill of the game right there.
As Trinity said to the agent, dodge this. He was able to get some pretty good escapes in, but not enough, and in the end, he was taken down there. And we can see that, 2Arc is able to pick up the rest of the shots there from the top temple. And the middle temple has despawned as well. So that phase is done. We're going to have probably the next one starting at about 430, 450 is going to be the next temple as we had a little bit of delay there on the top temple. And we've got pretty good damage going down on both sides, really, actually. Pretty even.
A little bit more of an advantage going the way of 2Arc because of that last kill into the top. They got not only 2 kills to 0, but that last push as well now took out that last tower. And ooh, LZ was looking for that body block on B-Kid, but can't block what's under your feet, bro. And again, like the level advantage is not huge, but it's somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 level to 2Arc. And that will get them 7, and Tiger JK leaves the game.
Oh, Tiger JK has had it. He's done. Ripperoonies in Doonies. So Prismaticism throws down that pause. And what's really interesting here is that, we were mentioning that slight little level advantage.
Oh. Wait, who paused? Prismaticism? Okay, yeah, that's Tiger's team. Never mind.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting because Tiger JK has left the game, but then Tiger JK starts chatting.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, what do we got? Level 4 talents coming in. Do you see the snowstorm on Jaina? Not really too much of a surprise. We've been seeing that a heck of a lot, at least on NA.
We see the reverberation into Thunderburn coming in there, which is very interesting to see on the Murd. And he's not going for any type of sledgehammer build, going to go for more of an anti-auto attack build just to kind of deal with that Zeratul, and Ian Ubarak as well. In fact, it's actually really interesting because Tiger JK's auto attacks are actually really powerful as well because they get powered up by his trait, in which he puts down that poison on anybody he touches.
As well, I mean, the Thunderburn is also, again, good counter wave clear. At the same time, put it down, it, hits a little bit of damage a little bit later. I guess we're waiting for Tiger to clear his leg, so we'll see how that goes. The Loon's Grace coming out here from Insomnia. Moonburn in Loons, we do see this a heck of a lot here on the NA side of things. And again, I'm very curious, will this be a mule? So far, we haven't had huge amounts of damage going back and forth, but it's a very small advantage for 2Arc going forward. So I'm not sure if they feel they need that or not, or they're going to take that cleanse for the Anubarak.
What's actually really interesting is you mentioned that, and I would normally see the burst overgrowth talent at level 1, burst regrowth at level 4 if we're going to see the mule, but he went for Loon's Grace, so I'm actually going to imagine he's going to go for the enduring growth.
Nah, so many support players that I talk to in the higher leagues just do not like that talent. They just don't think it's near enough.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I've been seeing so many people pick it though. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. But anyway, Trader going to be able to get caught there by a gravity lapse and a little bit of damage coming in there from Goku, but it's not enough. This little sliver of health, and he's going to proc his second wind trait to be able to regen a good amount of that damage. LZ Gamer now going to get completely covered in spiders. He's covered in fire as well though, so that should be able to deal with how most of the internet treats spiders. Just set it on fire. But he will be able to get those siege giants cleaned up.
The most boring fight in the world is Insomnia versus Jun up top, as the supports are just kind of trying to duke it out. Trader is now going to be holding down mid because Johanna has now rotated. Crone is going to be there with that Night Take Pawn with that Condemn. Yeah, it just absolutely cleans up. Both sides are basically going to hit these at the same time, and there's been significantly less pressure into the bottom lane than what we saw in game number 1 of 2Arc versus Nova, but it is, again, slightly more advantageous to 2Arc as they have more tower damage down there.
Guardian. And so we see those level 7 talents coming in here. What's really interesting is we're actually seeing the Urticating Spines come in there from the Anubarak. We see this, here and there, but it's a really good amount of AoE damage, actually, on a very short cooldown, about 8 seconds, about 100 damage, I think, at this level. 122 damage. It's a really, really awesome talent. It's actually one of my favorite ones to pick up on Anubarak. I'm really happy to see him picking that up. We're seeing a little bit of a scuffle here for this temple. I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Crone going for the arcane armor there as well. And Toad build coming out from Tiger JK. So very likely 13. Probably going to either see bigger Toads or Thing of the Deep. But Trader has just been juggling those hit points very well. Sunshine, I don't think is going to get out of this one. Nope, and he won't. LZ has taken 3/4 of these shots, but he has to get out of dodge before dodge gets him. It's just not enough. He's going to go down.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to fall, and that's going to actually help them out a little bit in terms of the creeps. He really, with his trait, was only able to do a good amount of damage to the Temple demons. The Temple is now completely spent, and 2Arc just barely is able to walk away with their own Temple, with their own fort there in the bottom lane.
Don't think Trader's in danger of going down. No, he won't be. But still, I mean, a few extra towers and now tying up those kills too. That was a really good set of moves from Bang Bang. Urticating Spines, just to go back to that point, we have been seeing it actually more and more in the SEL, and it really does go towards a bruiser style Anubarak. very well. I mean, you got the regen for the health, you got the beetles because beetles are just great. But then the urticating spines coming in. I think at 13 he still goes burning though.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way, just because with the burning and everything else, it just makes him a really good bruiser for that backline. We're actually seeing right now that Tuark is going to just jump on in here and snipe out this bottom fort. Oh, maybe. There we go. Last little hit there. The double battle momentum coming in there for as well at level 7. We see those heroics coming in for them. Actually, both sides have picked up their heroics.
Yep.
And the battle momentum is going to really help them just get more and more of those judgments and those blessed shields in there.
Now, the Judgment, the Blessed Shield, again, a lot of control going into that. Summon Water Elemental. Oh, Goku. He's setting it up. Here comes the wall. We're going to look for a Ravenous on this. Where's the Judgment from LZ? He doesn't get it on the Tiger because there was actually no Ravenous going out yet.
Yeah, kind of curious about this as the whole entire waiting for everything to go down before that whole entire Ravenous comes in. But we see that the Zeratul has fallen. Tiger JK now taking a good amount of damage, and they set this up, but they got taken down. And that's going to be Tuark taking this fight really convincingly against Bang Bang. Now, Prismaticism is the only one left, and he will get taken down there. Wow, that was a 5-for-0 turnaround on that fight. I can't believe that's how that happened.
We actually still have these fountains into the bottom lane, so I'm a little curious that we didn't hit the Sippy Cup and then go for a boss, but either way, Insomnia and Chrome, they clean up mid. We actually had to clean up bottom there as well. Trader with that passive, he's actually A-okay, so we can already start getting shots from both towers, and there was just no map positioning here from Bang Bang to do anything. But again, like, I saw that Ravenous, I saw the setup, I thought that was pretty much it right there, but by the end of it, the Judgment coming in and cleaving the team in two because it knocked people not only forward but as well backward, that was a really big point right there from LZ. That plus the Blessed Shield really kind of came together in that small, tight-knit space.
That was a really nice judgment. Really kind of separated the entire team of Bang Bang very nicely. And not only that, but, you know, I saw that Ravenous getting picked, and I was like, I don't know if I completely agree with that, because look at all of the disruption coming in there from their opponents. I mean, looking at Tuark, they've got Judgment, Blessed Shield, they've got Avatar, they've got a Muradin, for Christ's sake. They've got a lot of different ways to deal with that Ravenous Spirit and so many different ways to really interrupt it. It does help them kind of lure out those stuns onto him instead of anybody else, but
Trader.
You really want to have a lot of damage, and we're actually seeing a huge engagement going down. Goku gets a Divine Shield, but unfortunately we're going to see our poor Nazebo fall a huge Void Prison to try and disengage, but it's not going to be successful. Kael'thas now going to fall as well, and we're seeing B-Kid even get engaged upon. Not going to be really kind of followed up on, but still, another 2-0 for Tuark. They're just sitting in a great spot here.
The VP is unfortunately just not really getting a lot done. And again, you know, as I said, if you see a first pick Zeratul, a lot of the time now we see a prompt of between 2 and 3 tanks to kind of deal with that. Really, we only got 2 squishies of Jaina and Malfurion, and both of them at 13 took the ice block. I mean, the triple warrior frontline, not only with, you know, their battle momentums and all that, but we got double burning rage, imposing well at 13 has actually been doing some really significant work in terms of damage reduction. And even if Zeratul somehow slipped past that front line, we got a double ice block to negate a lot of potential bursts from him.
That's true, and that's just that survivability, that sustainability that really makes that triple warrior so incredibly great. And if you can put that on your carries as well as your last support as well, it's going to be a really, really great call. It's why we actually see a lot of Rainers kind of picking up that give me more talent when they're running with the triple warrior. They just need a lot of sustainability because that's their way. That's their ticket to win these fights, and they are taking these fights very easily. That ticket is getting paid back pretty nicely. The experience they're getting out of this is really, really good. And I have to say, it's really working out for Tuark in this whole entire composition. We've been seeing them running this actually quite a bit in the last couple of series that we've watched them.
Tuark has been looking. I mean, they disbanded their previous team based upon you know, the lack of results. But this new team coming in, I had a little bit of doubts early on, but they've really put in a lot of time fine-tuning kind of their strategies, their shot calling. LZ Gamer, of course, has been around the scene for a while, and Trader was part of the original crew there as well. Crone, Sunshine, and Insomnia coming in have so far proven some good results, but B-Kid, not quite so good right there.
Yeah, unfortunately not, and this is going to allow for Tuark to go immediately here for this boss. There's just not really that much that we can see. Really, there's no angle that I can see our friends here over at the other side really being able to come in and get this, wrestle it away from Tuark. The boss is going to fall down here. We've got another set of temples coming on up here in the next 15 seconds, and this is going to lend to a really nice positioning on the map here for Tuark.
16-13 going forward. This is a tough spot for Bang Bang. They didn't have their tank ready to go, so there's absolutely no way they could have actually contested that. And yeah, you see those Toads of Hugeness coming in. It's a nice build. The Toads coming out of Korea is kind of spread a little bit. Toad Affinity into Toads of Hugeness. You could even go Toads at 16, I believe, for extra spiders, but we typically do see the leaping spiders. Mark my words, that'll probably change next patch, however. Either way, with the 16-13 disadvantage, Tenacious Roots and the Holy Ground coming in, it's even harder to kind of get your footing in these fights.
Yeah, Tenacious Roots is absolutely massive, especially when we get into these temple fights, just because of the huge choke points. But we are seeing 2Arc now move their way on up here into this top temple, and we're actually seeing a very interesting movement come out here from Bang Bang. They're moving on into the bottom side of the map. It looks like they want to go for a snipe for this fort. I don't know if I agree with this, because as soon as this is going to happen, might be 2Arc just turns around and goes straight for that keep.
It's a lesser of two evils. I mean, they can't contest this top. They're down a talent tier. They got to get as much experience elsewhere as they can. And you're right. I mean, this top is going to go for the keep, but they got the fort. That's a bigger boost to 15 than pretty much anything else can happen at this point.
Right, and we actually see that 2Arc does go for that huge snipe. It's not going to be successful, but the temple is just about to be running out of ammo, but it's still too much for that keep to handle. It's going to go down and now start wailing away on that middle keep. It's going to go down, for the most part, on that turret, but still, losing that keep at this point is pretty big. It's a lot of pressure that's going to constantly be coming in from that top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, it's lesser two evils. I think that they kind of resigned themselves to the fact that that keep was going down. There's no way they could contest that top anyways. But, you know, again, like a good control coming out from 2Arc. There was nothing else on the map that was even available to take. So they went for a fort, and they took the exact opposite role. They should actually have mid and bottom, or top and bottom, as the next spawns. So, again, you know, if we can get that top, it'll get the fort. If we can get the bottom, it'll still get the fort, but it's at that point, I mean, you have to go for one or the other. 2Arc, very likely not to go for the top one next round.
We do see that they've grabbed both sets of the Siege Giants here on the bottom side of the map, and that's going to actually give them a good amount of pressure into the bottom lane. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this. They could rotate, they could keep pushing with this, or they can rotate around. And at this point, it's going to be very difficult here for Bang Bang to actually defend this. They're so close to level 16.
If 2Arc takes a fight now, they can punish this lack of 16 as quick as they can. We might even have to throw in like a Void Prison just to stop it, but 2Arc isn't going to do it. We do have a boss coming up in 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes to go, but the bottom push, not really super successful, I'd say, from 2Arc.
They just had to back up. Prismaticism's Chain Bomb was doing so much damage to those Siege Giants, and a good call there from 2Arc.
Wow.
They know they don't want to really overpressure. 19-16 in terms of the talents, and we've got the double temples coming on up here.
Double bombs from Zeratul. I haven't seen that talent in forever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
I see a lot of Stone Skin these days, or Rending Cleave. But double bombs, I mean, it's a little bit more of a throwback. It's kind of what this build was before. Look at those Toads. That's fantastic. Couldn't even go right through that at all. Benediction, Arcane, Specialized, and Blood for Blood. I mean, it's all pretty much kosher at this point.
It's really actually pretty cool to go for the double bombs, just because if he's going to start trying to chip away from that front line of 2Arc, might as well go for double bombs, because that's just more and more follow-through so he can get through. It's a lot more damage. Rending Cleave is good if you're able to kind of jump in there with, you know, impunity. But with so much crowd control, it's a little bit more dangerous. Goku going to jump on in there, do a little bit of damage there to LZ Gamer, and they're going to try and chip away at Sunshine, as he is the only target really present here. Crone going to poke forward for a little bit of an Ice Bolt, and now we see Sunshine go for another huge condemn. They are going for this engagement. The Void Prison is actually pretty decent. They're going to turn around here onto Trader, but I don't know if that's the greatest call, because they are going to lose out a lot here. Judgment going down there onto our Uther in the back line, and June is taking a good amount of damage. We already see Insomnia popping out the Tranquility to stay alive for a little bit longer, but Goku is going to be able to take that down. And we actually have a really good engagement coming out here from Bang Bang to turn this around with a 3-0 in that team fight.
It's even more impressive that they're down 3 levels and they were able to take that 3-0, but you know, it was actually some really favorable clumps that they were able to punish right there. I mean, we had the push forward into Goku. Goku was able to get that backline healer out, which is why Johanna died very quickly. And then from there, they were able to actually chunk down kind of the rest of them pretty methodically, I'd say. The Ravenous Spirit is doing its job in terms of it's a big draw to a lot of these crowd controls, but past that, I wouldn't say Tiger JK is getting a huge amount of work done with it.
Oh, actually, Goku versus Trader. This is actually pretty cool over here. Prismaticism going to go for the gravity lapse. It's going to be good. They're going to be able to pick up Trader. That is going to be a huge loss here for 2ARK going on into after this temple phase.
And this should actually be a boss coming up from Bang Bang here as well. Again, very impressive stuff. And in terms of like, why did they do that? Why didn't they just trade out those temples? It's because level 20 is now here for 2ARK. Like, that was their only window to fight on an even talent tier. That boss leash is not favorable at all.
Yeah, they have to back up. Goku apparently took way too much damage in the bottom shrine, was down to like 19 health.
Oh, really?
Barely didn't get killed by one of the defenders.
I didn't see that, sorry.
It was very, very close. And so that forced Prismaticism to have to come down and actually deal with that. Meanwhile, the top temple did take out that middle keep as well, which leads a very good position here for 2ARK.
Yeah, so majority of the shots then do go off to red. It was actually Tyrio that took the rest of top, which forced a second keep. So we are 2 keeps down. It's not all bad for 2ARK, but they also hit 20, and we're not quite there. We ended a heck of a catch-up. That was a 3-level disadvantage going in. Now it's about 1. So really well done there to Bang Bang. They actually came out very strong with that late game comp, but now indestructible, double hardened shield, and a storm shield on top of that. Things just got a heck of a lot harder.
We're starting to see 2ARK now move around on the map, looking for some sort of opening onto Bang Bang, but Bang Bang is playing super defensive as they need to. Level 20 is so close to them, but they don't actually have it. So level 20, those storm talents, massive here, and they just have to play defensive until they get those. They have to soak, unfortunately, which, might affect the effectiveness of Prismaticism because water plus fire just never works out so well.
There's that 20. They're going to try to contest this boss, Kev, but I think they're too little too late. The advantage of 2ARK.
Get in there. Goku throws out the Void Prison at the last second, but can they actually get it is the question. Here comes that massive burrow charge coming in there, and they're going to try and use that judgment to push him off, but it's actually not going to be successful. Meanwhile, at the same time, June taking a good amount of damage. They actually do push him off just barely to be able to get that control point, and they get the boss for themselves. It's currently a 2-1 in terms of the trade, but the redemption is going to be able to pop the Uther back on up here. So June is back on up here. Can he get to his team is the question. The zombie wall blocked him for a good amount of time. Tiger JK trying to get healed back up here by June, but Trader is going to be able to get him. And we see LZ Gamer pick up Prismaticism on the other side. June goes down. B-Kid so incredibly close to dying. And he will fall before he takes down Crone. Oh my god, he's able to stay alive for so long. But throughout all of this,
he's not going to be getting out of this one. LZ, I mean, he might have another chitinous. Yeah, there it is with a little bit of damage. We also got a boss on course, so this is going to be game right now. Yeah, and the GGs are coming up. B-Kid will live. Would you believe it? LZ is just going to give it up. Well, I say that. Does he have he has a judgment up in 5. So this is a sealed deal. But the core's going down into the back. Jaina apparently is going to drop to somebody else a little bit later. B-Kid with that shield. My god, he is living so long.
Oh, he used the blood for blood.
And the double temples boss. I mean, that was a sealed deal. But my god, what a great way to go out. So very close. They did get the Malfurion to the Bang Bang name, but by the end of it, 2ARK, their positioning, it was just too much.
Yeah, they did some really good work in all those fights. Some really good just pushing everybody away and really just focusing on, if you really looked at the beginning of that battle, their whole entire objective was to push everybody off the control point. If you get that boss is a huge fighting potential for you. He kind of throws down those giant tornadoes, he throws down the slams and everything else, and he's just a giant target that everybody might accidentally misclick or something like that. And getting that boss also just is their victory condition. That's all they needed to do. Even if they lost there, that would have been a huge, huge difficulty for the rest of Bang Bang to turn around and have to kill that boss before it gets to the core. So that was their victory condition. They made sure they got it. They got that boss. After that, the whole entire fight was almost superfluous, except for the fact that they just wanted to delay them for a little bit longer.
Even if they lost the fight but got the boss, I'm not entirely too sure would have won the game for them, but the double temples against 2ARK would have definitely dragged it out a little bit. Still would have been more favorable for 2ARK in order to take the round, but by the end of it, I mean, Bang Bang really showed some really good gusto there into the late game, but unfortunately it just was not enough. And I gotta say, with that fight, they used the Void Prison to kind of delay the cap, then a Nubarak charged in, they shielded him as soon as that was down, just to make sure he could stay on that point. We had Judgment immediately after to nudge him off, didn't work, and then it was a point-blank Holy Ground to nudge him actually off the point. That's why the boss was captured. Like, I thought that was a very cool kind of like Tyrael basically won the game at the end there.
Yeah, that was some really good play from LZ. And LZ's Tyrael's always been one of my favorite ones to watch. But that great play is going to allow them to pick up game number 1. Curious to see how game number 2 is going to go. I mean, already we see some really good play coming out from Bang Bang today against Momentum. But 2Arc is looking so incredibly strong here.
Now, if this does come down to Team Blaze versus 2Arc in the finals, we've actually seen that matchup several times in the last few weeks. You yourself have covered, and we ourselves have covered that matchup. And I'm looking at the brackets. Team Blaze has moved on into the finals. Brave Ozone, unfortunately, not able to cut it up against Blaze. So if this is 2Arc to move on, this is what, the 3rd time they have clashed in the last 2 weeks as a finals in a tournament?
And I've covered every single one of them.
Aw, you're just the best, Kev.
Except for, I didn't get to cover the Heroes Amateur Series. I'm curious to see if that actually happened yet again on Wednesday.
Well, we'll look into that, and as we take a quick break here, we're going to get game number 2 here going for you guys here in just a moment.